Hello and welcome to Fresh Face One Shots. My name is Joey,
And I'm Jacob.
and welcome back to our coverage of Batman: The Brave and the Bold, usually by Tom King and others. But once again, the winning card is absent.
And I think it's going to be a fairly significant delay.
Yeah,
I have a feeling.
Yeah, when they said to be concluded, they really fucking meant it. So eventually it'll be concluded, but for now we have it seems like a 3-month break between parts 3 and 4 of the winning card.
Unless it gets delayed further, which at this point...
Look, if it takes them 4 fucking months to finish the winning card, like more than 4 months I should say, then there's actually a massive problem.
Yes, because... Yes, so
I get it. You have 2 massive names in the DC Comics sphere working on the winning card. They're very busy people. But goddamn. Anyway, we have a replacement story called Batman Pygmalion, which I'm very, very fascinated by from this first part. And then, of course, all of our other 2 big stories from Brave and the Bold are ending this time around.
Yes.
So yeah, let's get into this. Oh man, I am fascinated by this thing. Oh man, so we're doing a memory loss story. I know how to speak. Memory loss story. Bruce wakes up.
Yeah, so this was interestingly solicited sort of as what? Back to year 1 or something.
I think so, yeah, that was like the title of it.
And I think some people meant that they were like, I think some people may have thought that meant they were literally going to be continuing Frank Miller's Batman Year 1, and thematically they so this is written and drawn by Guillen March, with colors by Arif Prianto.
I believe so, Prianto,
yeah. And March's style feels in a lot of ways like there's nods to Mazzucchelli's.
Yeah, definitely.
In a lot of interesting ways.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a let's take who we believe is Bruce Wayne, who's probably Bruce Wayne, but also based on the title, maybe not, because Pygmalion is a reference, obviously, to the George Bernard Shaw play, which became My Fair Lady, which is all about someone from the gutter being taught to be a lady, and it's a very interesting social satire on class and sex dynamics being translated kind of into a Batman story now, with where Batman is our Eliza Doolittle, and we have a child as Professor Henry Higgins.
Yes,
as that figure,
an adorable child dressed in a Robin suit, and she seems to be a big fan of Batman based on her room here. And I don't know, I immediately just love the dynamic that they build up between Bruce and this girl named Aurora, I believe.
Yes.
And it's I don't know, I like their dynamic. We get this like backstory that that one night Batman saved Aurora's mother. And they took Batman back to their place. He was like knocked out. They took him inside, patched him up, and in all this, he has lost his memory.
Yes.
Which is I love that setup to begin with, because it's not like, it's sort of like what's that BTAS episode? Forgotten, where he's like sort of like sent to where he loses his memory, is sent to like this like slaver area pretty much. But no, like here instead, like you're putting him like still in a familiar setting, just not as Batman, and it's really interesting. We play into the idea that like Bruce is still acting on this sort of like muscle memory. He has like this this muscle memory of how to like fight still, and like his training. He knows that he's Batman, but he doesn't know who Batman was underneath. So he starts calling himself Bryce.
Bryce
is funny.
it's funny. There's some interesting exploration of trauma, of a little bit of poverty. Aurora's mother is a nurse, and she was being mugged. There's a point where Bryce as Batman actually attacks their landlord, or Bryce attacks their landlord, and has to relearn to not be as violent and just to use fear instead of being violent, which is an interesting thread.
I love whenever the story like plays into Bruce slowly starting to remember his childhood trauma. There's this great bit when he's talking to Aurora's mother, and he like sees her as Martha on the night that she was murdered. And it's just, I don't know, just a fascinating aspect of the story. I love seeing like just the way that March plays Bruce getting his memory back. We see him training some more. You already mentioned bringing up attacking the landlord. He begins like tossing batarangs, like trying to get that back as well. It's really, really cool. And towards the end of it, actually, we also start building up a romance between Bruce or Bryce, I should say, and Aurora's mother, which is honestly just perfectly believable. It really works, I think, actually. I really enjoyed that aspect of it.
Yeah, and what's interesting is, like, if this is Bruce, this is a Bruce at a time where the Bat family in some capacity clearly exists. Obviously, because, Aurora is a fan of Robin. So there's at least a Dick Grayson roaming around somewhere. I don't know where we are timeline-wise.
Yeah, they're not especially clear about that.
And I think that might be part of the point. Because I could see this potentially. Like, there are two places where I could honestly see this. I could see this in between Dick and Jason, and in between Jason and Tim, potentially.
I mean, hell, and also for all we know, it could just be current.
It could be current. We don't know. We do get a minor cameo from Catwoman.
Yes, who's watching Bruce with Aurora as he's training. Be very curious to see where that goes. And I love that also towards the end of it, we also get Bruce this sort of like Detective Comics 27 like outfit with the purple gloves and all that. Very, very cool. And then we end the story by him like seeing the bat signal up in the sky. Just a really great first part. I'm very excited to see where this one's going.
I'm curious. It's a very curious issue or story, I should say. And I really, really hope that this doesn't get interrupted by Winning Card Part 4. I hope this gets to tell itself, like, whatever the full story is, if it's 3 issues or 4 issues. Because
I wonder what the series is going to do when Winning Card is over. Like, are they going to drop the whole silent film aesthetic of the title pages? Like, because they're still doing this, even in the issues even when there's no winning card. And I'm realizing that recently. I'm like, what are they going to actually fucking do when they don't have winning card anymore, and this whole aesthetic makes no fucking sense?
Maybe they'll just keep the aesthetic for aesthetic's sake.
Maybe,
like, I don't know.
It'd be kind of weird, though. I don't know.
We also this issue closes with a quote from the Joker in that silent film thing. So I'm like,
which they've been doing in all the issues where winning card hasn't been present.
Yeah. So like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Editors, because we know Tom King is like, I think he's just doing winning card and that's it. Like,
I believe so. Yeah.
Because he's on a different ongoing right now. Also, check out Blood Donut Studios for our covering of that ongoing.
Very true. Wonder Woman has been great.
I think issue 2's the video on issue 2's probably out now.
That'll come out first. Yep.
Yeah.
So, anyway, Stormwatch time. Down with the Kings, part 6, the final part of Stormwatch Down with the Kings. It's an interesting last part.
A very interesting last part. I think some of this is meant to be slotting in with some of the big DC Universe events.
Probably. Well, we bring up the recent death and rebirth of the Justice League and the retiring of the Justice League throughout it. But that all happened a while ago now at this point, so I don't think it's meant to take place like during any of that. Like, this is still obviously, it was meant to tie with Night Terrors, with 2 of our previous issues. So it's all still current, I think. But I really don't know what Ed Brisson is planning from this point on with these characters.
It feels like this, honestly, because this is the end of the arc. This is the end of the story. And I don't know what's taking its place in issue 7.
Yeah, not off the top of my head. I know there's something Aquaman coming up, but I'm not sure if that's taking the Harcourt portion.
slot or
I'm not
this
sure.
slot?
Yeah.
Well, but like my point is that this feels like a it feels more like a prologue to something.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a cool, like, you know, nice little 6-part story on its own here too. But the way this story ends in particular, I think it's interesting that it's not really like that it is clearly setting up for something else. But they don't even announce what it is by the end.
Yeah, there isn't like a Stormwatch will return in a Stormwatch #1, which I could see them making this an ongoing.
Like given the connections to Amanda Waller here, like, I don't know, maybe have them show up in Beast World.
Maybe.
Like,
I don't know.
But I don't know. I guess we'll see. I don't know. I really have no clue. That said, though, I did enjoy this last part. Maybe not as much as the others, but that's probably just because of how open-ended it kind of feels.
Yeah, I mean, there's some nice character interactions that are good.
I especially love seeing like the Stormwatch team like not like interacting well with Amanda Waller as sort of their new head.
Yes, I also love the detail that about who Waller uses her bombs on, like that she uses those bombs on criminals. These people,
yeah, like we get this whole bit where like we're trying to like inject the team with like literally a vaccine for a thing that they were exposed to before.
Yeah, for that virus that's been in the last couple of issues.
Yeah, and it's like, well, it's, you know, and like they think that like, oh, it could be like one of Amanda Waller's neck bombs that she loves using on the Suicide Squad, and it's like there's that idea of just like paranoia because these are characters that are very much aware of the Suicide Squad and Amanda Waller's antics. So I really like you know how Brisson plays around with that too. But also I'm a little sad how the story kind of like pushes Director Bones to the side at this point.
Yeah, in favor of Waller. I don't know.
I mean, I love him, and I have no complaints about more Amanda Waller, but the lack of Director Bones kind of hurts.
Yeah, I wonder if Brisson had any sort of editorial mandate of like Waller needed to take central stage because I know they're planning Beast. Is it Beast World? That's what the event's called?
Yeah, Beast World. Yeah.
I keep wanting to say Beast Wars, and that's not right.
That's Transformers.
That is Transformers.
Yeah,
I think.
But no, yeah, Beast World, which. It's as far as I can tell, like that's still only like just adding on to whatever Amanda Waller's big plan is going forward in the DC universe. So I don't know what exactly they're building up to. I'm sure at the end of the day it'll probably be written by Joshua Williamson, and we'll probably cover it at some point. But yeah, I don't know exactly how Stormwatch is playing into that. The comic isn't entirely clear on that either. So yeah, I don't know.
I do like. I mean, there are bits of the open-ended ending that I like. I like sort of the entire final conversation that we have here.
Well, we essentially like split the team down the middle. Like people that are okay with continuing to work for Amanda Waller, and people that aren't. Like Peacekeeper 01 is like really interested in being a part of the team because it'll give him a shot at Batman finally. And so he like wants to stay on the team as part of that, but he has to get his injection for it. But then there are also other people that are like just debating if they want to stay on or not. And also we leave the story with like two of our characters still unsure by the end, and that's just where it ends. And it just says the end for now, and it's just like I don't know where to keep following these guys.
I'm afraid with this book in general that things are going to start becoming open-ended and not concluded. Like with all the delays Winning Card has had. Mm-hmm. Now with this ending here, I really hope DC lets Ed Brisson continue this story, because
But then you also get stories like Order of the Black Lamp that were totally self-contained and had a middle and end. And I think like the Harcourt Second Life, like while it is setting up for larger things, like it's a good story on its own. Like it doesn't need anything more.
And it has an ending. Mm-hmm. But yeah, but for some of these really long running ones that have been here since the beginning of the book, their endings, like I was hoping maybe Brisson will come back. Maybe not. Who knows?
Yeah. If I were to, like, off the top of my head, I'm going to assume there might be like a Stormwatch miniseries at some point in the future.
Maybe.
Which I would more than gladly cover on the channel. I'm assuming you would too, considering we dedicated this much time to it already. Yeah, I don't know. should we move on to Harcourt's Second Life?
Yes, Harcourt's Second Life.
Let's finish that off. Not too much we haven't seen before from the story, but a great ending all the same, I think. Mostly about uncovering the truth about who really killed Emilia Harcourt back in Suicide Squad, and figuring it out by the end. We get actually another really nice flashback with her and her father in this issue as well that I really enjoyed. This is also really fun because we'll definitely read the Suicide Squad issue that like Harcourt was part of and died in someday. Though this totally spoils that by the end, which is really funny. How did you take that, actually, given the ending of this?
I mean, it certainly revealed who killed her. And
yeah. I mean, and also, who's fucking surprised?
Yeah. I think it's solid. It's tight. It's short. It's fairly short. This is one of the shorter stories.
But that's okay. It works fine. It's it works fine for what it is. It's a nice simple story.
I hope this means DC has plans for Emilia Harcourt.
Yeah. I mean, as far as I could tell, this was very much just like pitched as like a, hey, let's bring back this character that we made a while ago. And they're like, oh yeah, sure, you could do that. I don't know if that actually means that she'll get brought back at all. I'd love to see it, but I enjoyed this for what it was on its own.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
And then we have our Black and White story.
Black and White, yes, which is The Performance. This is by Sean Lewis with Javier Fernandez on the art, who's always wonderful. I really loved the idea behind this one. This portraying, Gotham's view of Batman out as a stage play, as an opera.
Yeah,
it's really, really cool. I really
with Bruce Wayne in attendance.
Mm-hmm. Who goes after an actual villain in the play. It's cool. It's a really, really cool idea. Very simple, it's the Black and White 8-page story. It doesn't do much beyond its very simple premise, but I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's fun. I don't think it hits quite as hard as some of the other Black and White stories we've had.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, mostly because it's more telling a more like, if you'll take my meaning of this, like more like a more physical, concrete plot rather than larger ideas in the Batman universe, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's also just a more traditional 8-page Batman short story. Like, it's very traditional.
I do love our 2-page spreads in this, though. Of the 8 pages, 4 of half of them are spreads, and they work really nicely, actually. So, yeah.
Yeah, and the theater's a nice setting. It's all ideas of a dance. Mm-hmm. There's an idea of this. It's a one-man show where one man is continually changing costumes to be different villains, and that could be some interesting commentary on Batman as a whole and Batman villains. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's a nice little way to end the issue. I had fun with this installment overall.
Yeah, it was a very good issue.
I think probably the strongest was probably Pygmalion.
Yeah, I agree. It's a story I'm very, very interested to see where it goes.
Yeah. Weakest, honestly, probably the last part of Stormwatch. I mean, not bad, but like it just
this is just overall one of the better issues I think of the series so far. So yeah. All right, I guess that about does it. Thank you all so much for watching. Until we come back next month with the next issue, be sure to check out other things on the channel. Our other one-shots, we're covering Superman by Joshua Williamson and Wonder Woman by Tom King. Those have both been awesome. Be sure to check out our videos on those, as well as the main podcast, Fresh Face Comics. We're in the middle of our Marvel block at the moment, which we are currently between releasing episodes on X-Men. So that's really cool. Plus, we have a cool bonus episode coming up in the near future. So, yeah, check those out. And I guess that about does it. Thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, this has been Joey Morgan.
And Jacob Licklider.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.